Welcome back to the Build Show. That's right, Ant-Man. Hey, Bunker. Welcome to the Build Show. Hey, Joe. Welcome to the Build Show. Excited? Or exalted? Over there on Twitch, what's up? Welcome to the Build Show. Come on in. We're back. All right, so we were just building a PC yesterday. Just a quick update before we get started here on Juliet's surprise. Hey, how's it going? So the PC yesterday, I know we ran into some issues when we first posted. I ended up putting a Ryzen 5 5600 in the slot yesterday after the stream. Posted just fine. Put the 5700X 3D back into the motherboard. Posted just fine. So I've got nothing on this, guys. I don't know what caused it yesterday to just say, nah, we're not gonna post. But it's working fine after I did that. So just a quick update from yesterday's build. All right, so today we have a special build. Dad bought Juliet this awesome PC that we're going to be building today. So we're going to be building it live here on the show. So Juliet, first off, happy birthday. I know you don't have the PC in hand on your birthday. I tried to get the parts here as quick as I could. But unfortunately, the last two parts that we were waiting for, which was the case and the motherboard, which is here behind me, right there, this little guy, they didn't arrive until today. So we couldn't do the build until today, which means I'll probably have it ready for pickup, hopefully sometime early tomorrow morning. So we'll see. Female CPU, thank you for defining that. What happened to the gold build that was on the thumbnail? No! That was yesterday's build, man. Tat, where have you been? It wasn't gold. I just threw a PC up there for a thumbnail. Happy birthday, Juliet. So yes, everybody in chat, if you want to wish Juliet a happy birthday. Today is her birthday, and we're doing her birthday build here on the stream, and I'm honored to be doing it. So here we go, guys. Let's get started. Right? All right, so we're going to run through the build list here. First off, the CPU, which is a Ryzen 5 4500, 6 cores, 12 threads, max boost of 4.1 gigahertz. It is an AIM-4 processor, so we are going to be building on the AIM-4 platform, which the motherboard that we have here, which is in the anti-static bag, I know we can't see it yet very well, but it is the Asus Tough Gaming A520. The reason why we went with the A520 instead of the B450 is because, well, it's pretty much the same board, this particular model. And also, the B450s are just out of stock everywhere right now. So the A520 is a little bit more expensive, but that's what we kind of shift over to kind of fill the gap right now, to use this board. It's pretty much the same thing, like I said, as a B450. If anything, this might actually be a little bit better. Let's see here. 16 gigs of DDR4 3200 for the RAM. So this is by Team Group. This is a T-Force Vulcan Z kit. It's 16 gigs, 8 gig each stick, so it's a total of 16 gigabytes. It's 3200 megahertz for the speed, and it's a timing of CL16. This is an excellent kit if anybody's looking to start on a PC. 16 gigabytes is pretty much the base that you can build with today. Anything less than 16 gigabytes, it's not worth it. So definitely recommend 16 gigs or more right now. And if you can go to 32, go there, but it's double the price, obviously, when you go 16 to 32. The storage that we're going to be building with is a Team Group also, MP33, which is 512 gigabytes, so it's a great SSD, quick SSD to start with. The games that I think Juliet's planning to play on these is pretty... they're not very big, so I'm not too worried about storage when she first starts, but I think later down the road that's going to be one thing that she will want to upgrade and add is more storage to the system. 512 is just super small these days, but it is you know, the name of the build, which is the budget box. So we try to put everything together for a full system where that's upgradable and it's something you can enjoy out of the box. and you know, you build yourself into. So more storage would be probably down the road here for Juliet. Juliet says, thank you, Atman. Yes, thank you, Atman, for the birthday wishes. Bazooka, Bulldozers, welcome to the Build Show. Come on in. Or welcome back to the Build Show, anyway. All right, and then the cooler that we're going to cool the CPU with is the Thermalright Assassin X120, which is a 4-heat pipe tower air cooler, and it's got a 120 millimeter addressable RGB fan on it as well. I think the fan goes up to about 1500 RPM, so definitely more than enough cooling for this CPU, and will support some future upgrades when Juliet's ready for those in the future. Next up is a graphics card, which I have out of the box right now because, well, we originally were going to put a GTX 1660 in here, but my birthday gift is an RTX 2060. Now, this is out of my personal collection, which is why it's out of the box. I'm not going to be using it, so rather than hunting down a GTX 1660, I thought maybe we could just use the RTX 2060 in here. It is still covered under the same warranty and all that. But it's a great card. And it's also ASUS, which is going to match the ASUS motherboard, so I'm all about that. You guys know that. So it's a little bit of an upgrade on the graphics card. And then next up is the power supply that's going to be powering the system, which is the RS Game AGV 500 watt 80 plus bronze. And I also got these cables for her as well. I couldn't remember if we ordered them or not, but I think we were going with just black cables, and I could not let that fly. So I ended up throwing some sleeved cables. Yeah, it says standard PSU cables. So I ended up throwing some white sleeved cables into the build because we are going with the white theme with the case. Now the case, I know somebody was asking about that earlier here. It's a 1660 with ray tracing added, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of an upgrade. So it'll help keep the PC going a little longer for her. Somebody I was asking about the case. Who was that? Oh, for some reason the Twitch chat, Chris, I'm sorry, I'm not seeing your chat over there. Twitch is not refreshing. Hold on. My Twitch chat isn't refreshing. Hold on one second. Chris, I'm sorry I didn't see your chats over there. I don't know why it's being such a pain. No, I didn't mean connect. I meant refresh. Okay. Twitch chat is back. Sorry about that. Happy birthday. I can see a blip of it over here in Streamlabs, but I have separate chat windows for each of the channels. Happy birthday, says Chris over on the Twitch. Montec case, it was Tat that was asking about the case. No, this is actually going to be an Okinawa's Aqua 3 case that we're going to be building in. I didn't touch on that yet. RAM is beautiful, cheap right now in my opinion. Yeah, I know, it's a great price. Been wanting to try that RAM since it's so budget friendly. Yes, no, this RAM's pretty good. I've never had any issues with them, honestly. Chris, I came here instead, thank you. Yeah, I just noticed over here on Streamlabs there's some Twitch chats here, and I didn't see those over here on the Twitch chat. So, hey Onra, welcome back to the Build Show. Drama Cap plays as the RX 7700 good for future gaming. Yeah, I'd say the RX 7700 is a pretty good card for today and probably tomorrow for a little while. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the Build Show from the other country. Bazooka Builders, thanks. Yeah, the 7700 is pretty good. It's a pretty good card. All right, guys. So without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Juliet just signed in over on Twitch. She's excited and thankful. She goes by Giraffe Shark. Got it. Well, unfortunately, my Twitch chat keeps going into connecting to chat. Thank you. Giraffe Shark over on Twitch did say thank you. She came over here. Nice. I don't know why my chat's doing this. Hey, let me try to refresh the page 1 second, guys. Yeah, I just reconnected Twitch chat and it's doing the same thing. So, I don't know, there must be an issue with Twitch chat when I pop the window out for some reason. But I can see the chat over here on the Streamlabs, so I'll try to keep up on it. But it's all just mashed into one chat, and it's really hard for me to keep up on everything because everybody's chatting everywhere. So, I'll do my best. Jar of Dirt! Welcome back to the Build Show, man. It's been a while since I've seen you. The other side of the Atlantic Ocean, yeah. What is it, like... It's gotta be what? Super early in the morning for you, right? Bunker F-16. These are taped and saved. Yes, they are. It's going to be over on the YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So if you go over to the channel, you'll be able to see the live videos there. Amazon servers have been weird for me lately as well. Yeah, I know. The Twitch is just doing some weird stuff right now. So. It's a scam. Ben just wants everyone on YouTube. No, if I could share my screen, I would. I mean, I could probably pan the camera up, but then you'll see my messy desk. You don't want to see my messy desk. Hey, what's up, Mike Thompson? Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. Bunker F-16 Juliet headed back to study for finals, but I wanted her to see the beginning of the build. Thank you so much for this. Yeah, no problem. Yep, she can always check out the stream afterwards if she's interested in watching it. So we'll go ahead and get started here because I know it kind of gets prolonged with lots of chatting. Twitching is twitching, yeah, right now. I'll talk to you later tonight or tomorrow. Sounds good, man. Yeah, just I'll reach out when it's ready. I'll rush this build tonight, try to get it done for you, but it might not be ready for pickup until tomorrow at some point. So, or worst case scenario Monday, as long as I get everything done. War PC, what's the CPU speed? This is a Ryzen 5 4500. It is 4.1 gigahertz with 6 cores and 12 threads that we're going to be building with tonight. But without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get started with the build, shall we? All right, let's zoom on in. Cool, nice, yeah. It's a great CPU to start with. For the price of the system, which was $550 that we're going to be building with today. You know, it's a tight budget, but pretty decent PC, a Ryzen 5 4500 and a RTX 2060. 16 gigs of RAM and a 512 gigabyte SSD. A decent case and a nice aftermarket cooler. For the CPU, can't really go wrong with it. What we're going to do is install our Ryzen 5 4500 CPU first. So here's our Ryzen 5 4500 that we're going to be installing with. If you are over on Twitch and you are watching, I can still see the chat. It just may take me a minute to react to it, longer than usual. There we go. Get our SSD installed. So next we're going to install 16 gigabytes of DDR4 3200 by Team Group, which is the T-Force Vulcan Z. Actually, I meant to take care of that can before I started the build. And then next up is our SSD, which is going to be a 512 M.2 NVMe Gen 3 SSD, which is a Team Group MP33. So it's a great SSD to start out with. Like I mentioned before, it's probably going to be the number one thing that you'll want to upgrade rather quickly. It's going to be the storage, especially with today's games being so large. So we'll get her started, and then she'll probably want to upgrade some storage, which we can help her with later on when she's ready. Will the BIOS need to be updated for the CPU? No, it doesn't need to be updated out of the box for the CPU, but I do all of the BIOS updates for every single build that we do before it goes out. So it's just a common practice at this point for us over here to always make sure we do the BIOS updates. And for some reason, Alexa thinks I'm talking to her. There's our MP33 SSD, and next up is our cooler for our CPU, which is a Assassin X120 Refined SE with ARGB. This is by Thermalright. It's a 4-heat pipe cooler, tower air cooler, with a 120mm PWM addressable RGB fan, which will run or reach up to about 1500 RPM. Give or take a little bit there. Nice. Nice. Is 1 terabyte recommended? It's preferred, yes. And even, you know, nowadays I try to push people to 2 terabyte where I can. But I mean, keep in mind, this build was $550 total. The CPU is about $70 part. The motherboard's about $100 part. Graphics card is about $100-ish part. Power supply is another 50. It all adds up really quick. So I try, you know, but when we have this type of budget to work with, we do what we can. And, you know, this is a great option to start out with, and it's definitely upgradable, so she can always add more storage in the future, and that's very easy to do in PCs, so definitely something that you'll probably want to upgrade in the future. I keep saying that over and over again because I hate 512. I hate starting with 512 now. But yeah, 1 terabyte would have been ideal, and it would have been another like $40 or so, which would have put us at closer to 600 for the build. And we were trying to keep it at 550. I think we were actually trying to keep it lower than that originally, but this is the option we ended up with. So it also includes a 2-year warranty. So all right, just getting the hardware out for the cooler so we can get this cooler installed. And we are going to remove these stock brackets that come with the motherboard. So we're going to go ahead and remove these brackets. We are going to use the back plate, though, that comes with the motherboard. So you do need the back plate for this cooler, but we don't need the brackets. Put the studs in over the bracket holes, and then you get the bracket and just insert the screws through the AIM-4 slotted holes, and then you just line them up and thread them. And then that includes the bracket installation for this cooler, which is very simple. Very simple install. And then from there, we're going to peel our peel off the bottom of the cooler. Always remember to do that. And then we're going to apply our thermal paste. And then we're ready to mount the cooler. We're going to make sure the letters are matching the T-Force on the build so that they're the proper direction for the aesthetics. And then last is the installation of the 120mm fan, which is what's going to help push the airflow across the fins to cool it. Great PC for the price. Considering you only have one slot, 2 terabyte would serve the user better. Yes, no, I agree, but was not in the budget. So we do have SATA ports if we want to add additional storage. But I mean, the important thing is getting Windows on the M.2 for the speed of the actual system there. But yes, I 100% agree with you, Mike. That would have been preferred. The bigger, the better for the one slot scenario. But we can always add more storage. And we have SATA. And if she needs help with migrating Windows over to another drive, I can do that for her very quickly. Got the tools here to do it to help. Alright, so now we need some zip ties. I've got some white ones. Okay, so now that we have the cooler installed, we are ready to get the case out next. Yeah? Let's do it. War PC Team Group makes awesome storage and RAM. The motherboard is great for ASUS, and CPU is also great. Got the Stormtrooper looking build, black and white, awesome. Yeah. The case is going to be white though, but I mean it still kind of has Stormtrooper feel to it, right? Hey, what's up, Lupino? How's it going over there? Size of the CPU fan is 120 millimeters? Yes. Is the RAM RGB? No, it is not RGB. It is just your typical standard T-Force Vulcan Z, if you want to look it up by Team Group. It's your typical stuff. Rye Guy, happy birthday, Juliet! Thank you for the shout out from Twitch over there. Appreciate you, sir. And my Twitch chat is a little bit delayed right now, so I apologize. But I can still see him. All right, so this is the Okinawa's Aqua 3. Okinawa's. Ow. Good old zap. It's a nice micro ATX case. It's got some great value to it. A beautiful mesh design on the bottom all the way around, except for the back panel, which really helps with the airflow. You could add some additional fans to the bottom here, some like 15 millimeter thin fans to the bottom to help with additional airflow if you'd need it. But I mean, the amount of power that we're going to be drawing from the CPU and GPU in this system, it's not really needed. We've already got 2 fans on the top, 1 in the rear, so it's really just going to be drawing the air through the system. And the important thing is expelling the heat from the system, right? Hey, what's up, Steve Anderson? Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. Great case for the price. I know it's the great case for something that's going to give a really good bang for the buck. That's micro ATX. They also have ATX versions and a slightly larger micro ATX version. These are great options. Additionally, premium type feature that you don't see in all cases is the white case comes with white cables. White I/O cables. You really don't see that very often. So I call that premium in a way, in many different ways. Oh, nice case. Yeah, it's a nice case. It's a nice case. Yeah. I enjoy building in these too. They're very easy to build in. We do have to move some studs around, but that's no big deal. Especially with our Gamers Nexus kit that has literally every tool you could possibly need in a PC build, except for cutters and... what else was there? There's one other thing that I thought of that I thought maybe they should add. But it's an excellent kit. I was in the Linux Saloon live chat. Just realized you were live. Oh, nice. Well, yeah, we just got started a little bit ago. It's one of the budget builds, so we're doing a Ryzen 5 4500, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte M.2 NVMe with a Thermalright Assassin X120 cooler, an RTX 2060 with a 500 watt 80 plus gold power supply, and the Okinawa's Aqua 3 case. So lots of great budget parts here that I like to use. Kind of maximize the dollar. Okay, so now that we got that squared away, all our studs are in the right place. We're gonna go ahead and install our IO shield and then drop our board in. They numbered my foot very well the first day, but this thing hurts. Oh, so they numbed it. Oh, they numbed it very well. Yep. It's probably gonna be sore for a little while. Thanks, Steve. Back to you, Steve. Back to you, Steve. Yeah, I don't know what we would do without Tech Jesus. Yeah, I feel bad for you, Steve. I hope it heals up quick for you, so you can get back to no pain inside your foot, man. Sucks. I'm sorry. Okay. So, we're going to drop the board in here, and then we're going to get this thing mounted relatively quick. A few screws. It does get a little tight in the ceiling with the cooler in here. But I mean, we've been in tighter places, so we'll work with this. Okay, so now I need my screwdriver, probably the long boy. I'm going to use the long boy to get up here in the top so I don't chew up my knuckles on the cooler. Save a knuckle, get a long screwdriver. And then the last one I'm going to use with the long boy here is right next to the cooler. Because, again, save the knuckles. They don't need to get chewed up. And then we'll switch back to the LTT store screwdriver, which we're trying to break. And it's survived, I think, over 50 builds now. Which is pretty impressive for a ratchet-style driver. There's no signs of it slowing down either. Crap. Definitely not the right screw. Last one, and then we get to deal with some front panel connections, which we have. So this panel does, or this case does have USB-C. That's not going to function because we do not have a USB-C header on this board. That's the downside. Now I could get a USB 3.0 splitter and then an adapter, but I'm not going to go through all that. Port won't work. I'm sorry. One downside to putting a budget board in this case. HD audio towards the bottom here. Except it wants to fight me. USB 3.0. It's going to go up here towards the top. And then our front panel power connections will go right here. And last, we have some synchronization cables to deal with here. We'll get this up here. And we're actually going to take this fan from the cooler and bring it down here and plug it into the hub. And then we're going to plug the hub into the board at the top. Flip it over and see what we get. Front panel USB-C. This is going to be a little bit tricky over here, guys. Get it? So I'm going to lean over and probably cover up the camera. I apologize. Is the GPU white? DAM adds one minimum. DAM adds one min. Back. What games will this be running? If you know, I'm actually not sure what games she's going to be running, but I think they're mostly like Minecraft and things like that. It's an RTX 2060. It's right here, so it is not white. It is black. We could paint it, but I don't think I'm going to go through the trouble today. I don't like painting indoors, and right now it's super cold outside, and paint doesn't like to do well in the cold. Well, could use the tent. Okay, we got the fans plugged in, and the ARGB hub plugged in. That's good to go. And our power switch. Power LED lights, those are all plugged in now as well. And our HD audio. That is good to go. There we are. So the only major thing we have left to do is drop a power supply cable in here. Or some power supply cables. We do have sleeve power supply cables though, so we did add that. Which are white. To continue to the white build theme. PCIe. Here's our EPS, which is going to go up here in the top corner. So I'm going to drop a couple of our cable combs on it. Not literally like I just did there. And I'm going to feed the cable through the back here, front, in hopes that I can fish my hand somewhere in there to receive it, help receive it, and navigate around these fans and cables. Go. And then you gotta struggle to get this EPS cable plugged in up here. One thing I wish I would have done maybe is done this earlier on in the build before I tighten the motherboard down. Would have made it a little bit easier, but if you get it started like I just did, you can use a little screwdriver to get in there. Just don't let the screwdriver slip. But you can use it to kind of push the pins in all the way until you hear the click, and then just examine it, make sure it's flush with the connector, which it is. So it's an easy way to get in there without getting your hands all chopped up. Save the knuckles. Steve Anderson. I was playing The Last of Us Part 1 today in 4K with FSR 3.1 in ultra settings, hitting 150 to 180 FPS, and even went as high as 211 FPS with the 7900 XT. I know, that card is a beast. It is a beast of a card. I actually just saw one at Micro Center open box for like $602, and it was the Power Color Hellhound. I was very tempted to go grab it. You know, it's a very nice card. But I refrained because I have enough cards sitting here right now that I'm not doing anything with. In fact, I'm putting one in this system today. We were going to do a GTX 1660 for this build, but I have the RTX 2060 here. Not doing anything, so may as well put it to work. Alright, so the 24 pin, we're going to put some cable combs on here as well. If you guys have been following me long enough, you know how much I love the cable combs. And if you don't hear the sarcasm in my voice, there is definitely sarcasm there. It is such a tedious little task. Especially with the 24 pin. There's a couple of kits out there that are really nice and they have them already pre-combed. They're just stupid expensive. I always sit there and wonder, is it worth it to get them pre-combed? Buy it? Don't tempt me. I don't know if it's still there. But I knew it was a good deal. I do have to go back to Micro Center to return a B650 that was bad. It was from build number 10. Actually, the one that didn't have any RGB. The controller on the RGB controller on the Gigabyte B6550 Gaming AX V2. The RGB controller was just dead. Did not send any power to the ARGB. And then the software wouldn't even detect that it had addressable RGB on the board. It was like the controller was just dead. So I assume something happened to that board, but I have no way of knowing. Then just returning it and getting a replacement. I pulled it out of my inventory to fix it. Another board. All right, 24 pin. There we go. Looking fancy. Well, I guess we could just drop the card in and put the PCIe cable in there. So that's why my PC doesn't have cable combs. I understand now. It must be a global hatred among builders. Sometimes. I always do them if they're there. So, typically, unless somebody asks me not to do them, like they want the style of no cable combs, sometimes I'll do it. You know, they're different looks. So you can do it with or without them. But, W800 subscribers. Oh, nice. I didn't realize we hit that. Oh, Dennis and Chris subbed over there on YouTube. Thank you. And Noah over on Facebook. Thank you for the like over there. I'm terrible at that. That's so bad. Mine is a CyberPower, so I assumed they just cheaped out where they can. Well, what's frustrating with CyberPower is the kit probably includes the cable combs that they're buying. So they probably have the cable combs for it. They don't do it because the builder has to build the PC within a certain amount of time. So, and if they don't, then they get docked, or they have like a quota they have to meet. So if they have to speed through the build, they'll cut corners like that. And I don't like that design because that, you know, forces the build to be fast or done quick. And usually when builds are done quick, there's problems. So take your time, do the build right. That's always been my philosophy. All right, so here's our RTX 2060. This is the Asus Dual Evo. Going in. White silverish lettering actually kind of adds to the flavor a little bit. Blends with the board nicely. Yes, it being a white card would have looked pretty cool. But I don't see us getting a white card in this budget. So it would have been a custom paint job from me to make that happen. I just noticed a smart access memory was not on. Oh. Maybe that's a good thing. The lettering is white, so it fits. Yeah, it helps a little bit, right? Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty cool. Pretty good. All right, so next is our 8-pin PCIe cable. This is just an extension cable, just like the other two, but it's a sleeved white cable to add to the aesthetics of the build. Even though it's a budget build, aesthetics are still important where we can do it. You know, there's little things you can do to make the PC look good for not a lot of money. And that is what I'm good at. And these little cable kits, these are like anywhere from $20 to $40 depending on what one you want to get. They add a little bit of flair to the build. I think this particular kit was $21. If you want to spice up your build, something simple and cheap, sleeved extensions with cable combs. Add some flavor to the build. I almost want to run it down there, but I don't want to run it down the CPU. There isn't really a great option here other than just kind of running it down here. If I go under the GPU here, I could go here, but if I go into the GPU here, we're chancing it touching the fan because there's not a lot of clearance there. I think I'm just going to go this way. Zip tie it over here somewhere. Okay, so let's get the power supply in there. WSG Big Dog. Hey, what's up, JMO? What's the budget? We had $550 on this build. It's a nice budget. Well, welcome back to the build show, sir. Yes, I am building for somebody else. This is Juliet. Sorry, you can't see that because I have the case up there. It's in white. But it's for Juliet. Build number 16 of the year, and it is actually Juliet's birthday today, so we're doing a birthday stream. Unfortunately, we didn't get the parts here quick enough to do the build before her birthday and then have the PC in hand, but instead we're doing the build live on her birthday, which, you know, we were waiting for the parts and they showed up today. The case and the motherboard. I'm vibing with it. Yeah. Yeah, it works good. It works good. This is my first stream. Oh, I feel like I've seen you here before, maybe once or twice. Maybe it's somebody else, I'm sorry. But welcome to the Build Show, then. Come on in. Get some snacks. If you like watching PCs build, or if you enjoy building PCs, or if you're here to learn, you know, it's always a great place to learn. Lots of people ask questions here, and we've had quite a few followers build some PCs after watching some of the streams. Then they jump into our Discord channel and ask questions there as well. That's a good birthday present, not gonna lie. Yeah, it's a really nice present. It's from dad to daughter. So, I believe this is her first gaming PC as well. So, great option to start with, and you know, something you can upgrade with. Okay, next up is we got to plug all of this in. And then we'll do some quick cable management here. I think the important piece is getting these tied down here. I personally bought parts for a PC around like $450. Yeah. Yeah, you could do builds for cheaper, but this is kind of my limit. Because people have expectations from PCs, you know? So I have to meet those expectations or deal with the issues behind them with people. And I'd rather just say, this is the limit. Anything less, you may as well just go buy an HP or a Dell. Because, you know. Mike Thompson, happy birthday, Juliet. Juliet, yeah, thank you. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes for Juliet. I'll make sure she sees those. She'll obviously see them when she comes back and watches the stream again. She stopped in earlier, but she's currently studying for her finals on her birthday. So, super important. I totally get it. Higher priority. So, alright. That is done. I think we're ready to fire this thing up. Yeah? What do you guys think? Nice and clean? Clean, solid build? Cable management's nice. See, we got one cable down here below the fan popping up into the GPU fan, which I just pushed down there. Finals already. Specs. So this is a Ryzen 5 4500. 6 core, 12 thread, 4.1 gigahertz max boost, 16 gigs DDR4 3200, Team Group T-Force Vulcan Z, 512 gigabyte M.2 NVMe SSD, which is a Team Group MP33, RTX 2060, a Thermalright Assassin X120 SE addressable RGB white tower air cooler. And the motherboard is an Asus TUF Gaming A520 with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. The case is an Okeanos Aqua 3, and the power supply is a 500 watt 80 plus bronze by RS Game. It's a very nice build, yes. So it's in the newer, I guess, modern design case that everybody is raving about lately. The whole kind of dual chamber look. All right, let's get a side view going here. Let's see what it looks like when we fire it up for the first time. Sorry about how loud that is. I need to fix that. We could probably zoom in just a little bit more. Go. All right. Who's ready to see this thing? Yeah, 4500 is definitely good for a budget build. Ryzen 5 4500, it's too old. It's not too old. It's an AM4 build CPU. It's a great CPU to start out with. Can't argue with that. I just had a low budget and don't expect the highest, but yeah, I know. That's exactly how it is, JMO. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and fire this thing up. You ready to see this? Here to make sure it's done. Robert, fix it. Thank you. I appreciate you following up on my work, as always. Welcome to the build show, sir. 5600? Yeah. I want to see it. Dude, it's a budget. Here we go. Fire this bad boy up. Yeah, for the budget, it's got some pretty good looks for $550. Yes, I know there's a lot of AM4 CPUs there to buy, but we had to stay within a budget for the customer. So this is what we ended up with. And it's always something they can upgrade to, you know, if they want to go to a 5600 or something bigger. As a foreman, I have to walk them. They pulled the foreman card, huh? I have to walk around with my hard hat and clipboard and make sure everything is good. No, I appreciate it. We got a post, so that's good. We're posted up. Capture the RGB poo. Yeah. Great build. I love it. Thank you. Yeah. I hope Juliet loves it just as much as us. Can't wait to get this over to her. So I'm going to try to rush and get this thing done so that they can come pick it up tomorrow. But worst case scenario, it'll be ready Monday. Is my opinion, my friend. Yes. Yeah. No. We welcome opinions here all day. So if you have an opinion, I like to know it. I like to know everybody's opinion. What gigabyte is the 2060? I like it. The RTX 2060 is a 6 gigabyte, although there was an 8 gigabyte version released later by NVIDIA, and the SIs. So there is an 8 gigabyte version of the RTX 2060. I think it's might be a slightly, I like the RTX 2060 Super, but I can't remember. It's been a while since I've talked about that card. But I know there's an 8 gig version out there somewhere. What is the lighting up on the back side of the motherboard? That is a RGB strip on the board. So that is RGB on the board, yes. Like I said, it's a great, you know, price to dollar board. Slightly better than, I think, a B450. Some B450s. Small but powerful. Mighty Mouse PC. Yeah, it's got a great look with the white and black. Mostly white. Only 3 components in the build. I guess 4 if you count the power supply in the back, which we covered up with the extension cables. But the only part in the builds this build that's black is the motherboard, the RAM, the graphics card. That's visible. Everything else is white. B550 Tough? No, this is the A520 Tough Gaming plus Wi-Fi. So, micro ATX. We had to fit the budget. Squeezed every penny everywhere I could to make a budget system, and this is our budget system that we can build. You think is great to match Ryzen 7 7700X with a 5700 XT or 5500 XT? I think the 5700 XT would definitely be better with the 7700, but I mean, it'll still be there'll still be a GPU bottleneck there because CPU is way faster than the 5700 XT, what it can put out. But yeah, the 5700 XT would be better, and you could usually find those for a used price, for a really, really good used price right now. I know that would be better than your R9 Fury that you have, which is a 4 GB card. So the 5700 XT would be superior for you. You'd get an upgrade from that. When she puts RGB RAM in there, it'll look really nice. Yeah, if she ever wants to upgrade the RAM, she can definitely add RGB to it. And then it'll be controlled by the ASUS Armoury Crate, which is another feature by this board, which makes it simple to control the RGB in the system. I got one for 120. I got a lot of them from somebody that mined, but I knew him. It was the only reason why. So I knew how he was, using the cards, and I know he cooled the cards very well, so they weren't really abused. But I got a whole bunch of them for, I think they were like $100 a piece, the 5700 XT. I got like 10 of them, and then I did a bunch of budget builds with them, and they worked out great. What's a 3070 going for? So if life hack, Mike Thompson, if you shop around on Zotac's refurbished portion of their website, so if you go to Zotac's store page and then go to the refurb section, you can find RTX 3070s as cheap as like 220 bucks there. And they come with like a 90-day warranty and things, so you can get them pretty cheap. But the going rate, I think, in the market, at least here in Michigan, is around $300 for an RTX 3070. Between 300 and like 350, I think, is kind of the top end of a 3070 that I've seen. Which brand is the 5700 XT, my friend, and what kind of use with this GPU? I mean, any one of them. I really liked the Red Devil versions of that card, but those are hard to get. So the Power Color or the XFX Speedster or Swift card or Swift SWFT cards, those are pretty cool cards. AMD Radeon RX 5700 XT, they can really be used for gaming and daily tasks for streaming and content creating. Yeah, they're great budget cards if you know somebody that needs like a decent card that'll help with 1080p / some 1440p gaming. That'll do it. Still a powerful card today. It's like cards that get forgotten are cards like that, the 5700 XT. Nobody talks about them. They still pack a really good punch, and there are so many that were made, and then so many were bought by miners and then now dumped off into the market by miners. They're just so cheap in the market right now. They're just everywhere. So great cards. I will do mostly gaming, yeah. So is Ryzen CPU better matched with an RX GPU or RTX GPU? I really don't think there's a major difference there. I think AMD does have some benefit with their 7 or 5000 series or 7000 series CPUs when it's matched with a RX AMD Radeon card. But I mean, a minuscule performance boosts, you know. Small. Here in Greece, we found an XFX Power Color and a Sapphire. Both of those are really good brands. XFX, Power Color, and Sapphire are all good brands. Yeah, all three of those are. I think out of the three of them, the Sapphire is going to be the best option. I actually don't know why I didn't mention that earlier. Because that's just where my head is. Tell me something. I see someone who sells an RX 5700 with a BIOS of RX 5700 XT. Is that normal, or is it hiding something? I think a lot of people modded them because it would unlock some features, but I would just be careful about buying that. I personally, I wouldn't even touch it. If I know somebody modded the BIOS, unless I know them, I don't really care to bother with it, because you might just be buying somebody's headache. But, you know, he is being upfront and telling you that it is modded, so maybe he knows what he's doing. Modified. It might be a card with dual BIOS, so check that as well. You know, if you check the model number of the card and go to the website and see if it's a dual BIOS card, that means it would have a stock BIOS and the modified BIOS, and there's usually a switch on the board that you can switch back and forth to go from the modified BIOS back to the stock BIOS. So that might be an option as well. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, Juliet, I am looking forward to getting this computer completed for you, and I wish you a happy birthday. So I'll be letting your dad know when this is ready for pickup here. As soon as it is, you should get an email from me, and I'll probably send him a note through the chat that we've been chatting on. But that is it for me, guys, for the evening. I'm going to wrap the stream up here. We've got Juliet's birthday build. Happy birthday, Juliet. And we've just got to get it across the finish line now and finish it up. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in and hanging out. I appreciate everybody here. Good night, all. Happy birthday, Juliet. Can we see what it looks like with the glass on? Yeah, I can do that really quick. Usually I keep the glass off because it likes to reflect light. The camera doesn't like to pick it up very well. But that is it with the glass on. Who is Juliet? Juliet is the owner of this computer. Her dad purchased this through us, and then we built it live for her on stream. Oh wow, super clean look. Oh yeah, super clean. I'm gonna put the thumb screws in so the glass doesn't fall. There you go. Nice clean look. Can you change the color on that CPU cooler? Yes. Yep, all of the colors are going to be adjustable through the ASUS Armory Crate once we get Windows installed and once we get the ASUS Armory Crate installed, and we'll be able to adjust that from the software. All right, everyone. Again, that's it for me for tonight. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Awesome budget build. Thank you. I'm glad you love it. If anybody wants specs on this, just join the Discord, and I could drop you the specs if you want links to buy all the parts to do this yourself. If you haven't joined the Discord channel, let me drop the link. That is the link to the Discord channel if anybody wants to join. Happy birthday, Julia. Good night, US. Good night. Good night, everybody. I'm going to take off. Have a good night. Happy weekend. Have a good weekend. And we'll see you on the next build show. Next build show is probably going to be Monday evening. Yeah, we should be doing one. Tomorrow, we will not have a build show. Tomorrow's my day. All right, good night, guys. Good night, some giant idiots. JMO, Loop. I'm gonna call you just Loop over on Kick. We'll see everybody. Have a good night. See you on the next one.